Jack Nicholson, a Hollywood legend, has a dating history as iconic and enigmatic as his filmography, filled with long-term partnerships and a reputation for being a ladies' man. We're taking a deep dive into the fascinating romantic life of this celebrated actor, exploring the women who've been part of his legendary journey. Jack Nicholson and Georgiana Carter had a relationship from 1957 to 1960. Georgiana Carter worked as a secretary and met Jack Nicholson through his family connections. They also appeared together in the 1960 film The Wild Ride, where Carter played a character alongside Nicholson. Jack Nicholson and Lynette Burnett dated around 1960. Lynette Burnett was a secretary at MGM Studios when she met Nicholson early in his career. Burnett is considered Nicholson's first profound love. Their relationship left a significant impact on Nicholson's life, though it was relatively brief. Jack Nicholson was married to actress Sandra Knight from 1962 to 1968. They met while working together on the film The Terror, 1963. During their marriage, they had one daughter, Jennifer Nicholson, born in 1963. The couple separated in 1966 and finalized their divorce in 1968. Despite the end of their marriage, they reportedly remained amicable and co-parented their daughter. Jack Nicholson and Mimi Machu dated from 1967 to 1971, a relationship that began while Nicholson was still married to Sandra Knight and continued after their divorce. Mimi Machu was a waitress and actress who caught Nicholson's attention, and their relationship was known to be intense, though relatively private compared to some of his other affairs. Jack Nicholson and Susan Anspach had a brief but impactful relationship from November 1969 to January 1970 after meeting on the set of 5 Easy Pieces. Anspach later claimed Nicholson fathered her son, Caleb Goddard, born in 1970. Their connection led to legal and financial disputes in later years, including lawsuits and bankruptcy filings. While Nicholson eventually acknowledged the son, public uncertainty remained. Jack Nicholson and Rita Moreno are rumored to have had a brief romantic encounter in September 1970. While the relationship was never officially confirmed by either party, Moreno described their connection as terrific in an interview, and it is noted as a rumored hookup during that time. Jack Nicholson and Susanna Moore had a brief affair in the 1970s after meeting through her then-boyfriend. Moore worked as Nicholson's script reader, and their relationship turned romantic. However, Moore later described the relationship as disappointing, citing ideological differences, including Nicholson's controversial admiration for historical figures. The affair ended without lasting impact, and Moore went on to build a successful career as a writer. Jack Nicholson and Michelle Phillips dated on and off from 1970 to 1972. Their relationship began during Phillips's transition from music to acting. They lived in neighboring homes in Los Angeles and shared a close bond. Phillips described Nicholson as charming and fun, but their romance was strained after he learned a shocking family secret, that the woman he believed was his aunt was actually his mother. This revelation affected his ability to trust, including Phillips, contributing to their breakup. Their relationship was reportedly on and off, and at one point, Michelle became pregnant, but sadly had a miscarriage. Jack Nicholson and Candice Bergen had a brief relationship in 1971, the same year they co-starred in the film Carnal Knowledge, 1971. Some sources suggest their relationship may have extended into the early 1980s, with Bergen described as a muse for Nicholson during that period, but the most commonly cited time frame is 1971, around the time of their film collaboration. Jack Nicholson and German supermodel Veruschka von Lendorf had a brief romantic encounter in 1972, during the time they met around the production of Michelangelo Antonioni's film The Passenger, 1975. They were also seen together publicly, such as attending a political rally in 1972, indicating a social connection alongside their brief romantic involvement. Jack Nicholson and Joni Mitchell had a brief romantic encounter in 1972 during the early 1970s when they were part of the same vibrant social and artistic circles. Jack Nicholson and Dutch model Apollonia van Ravenstein had a romantic relationship in 1972. Their bond remained close, even leading to a one-night stand while Nicholson was dating Houston, an incident that ended Van Ravenstein's friendship with Houston and inspired Joni Mitchell's song People's Parties. Nicholson reportedly downplayed the event, causing further tension. Nicholson reportedly dismissed the incident as just a mercy, which deeply upset Houston. Jack Nicholson and Angelica Houston had a passionate, on-and-off relationship that lasted 17 years, from 1973 to 1990. They never married or had children, and their romance was marked by deep affection, but also frequent turmoil, mainly due to Nicholson's infidelities. Houston described the relationship as emotionally intense, with moments of heartbreak and disappointment. Even after their breakup, Nicholson has shown care for Houston, such as checking on her during the 2020 Los Angeles wildfires. There is no evidence or credible information that Jack Nicholson and Louise Fletcher ever dated. They worked together professionally on the 1975 film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where Nicholson played Randall McMurphy and Fletcher portrayed Nurse Ratched. Photos and anecdotes from the set show Nicholson teasing Fletcher in a friendly, collegial manner, but there is no indication of a romantic relationship between them. Jack Nicholson and Krista Helm dated for a significant period in 1976. They reportedly met while Krista was waitressing at Sergio's Le Club in Los Angeles. Krista Helm was a model and actress who moved in Hollywood social circles and was linked romantically to several famous men, including Nicholson. Jack Nicholson and Jill St. John dated from 1976 to 1977. Jill St. John, known for her role as a Bond girl in Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, was a prominent actress and socialite, and their romance attracted media attention at the time. However, their relationship was relatively brief and did not lead to marriage or children. Jack Nicholson and Barbara Allen had a brief romantic encounter in 1977. Barbara Allen, a model and socialite connected to Andy Warhol's circle, described her relationship with Nicholson as lasting a little more than a nanosecond, indicating it was short but notable. Margaret Trudeau, the estranged wife of Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, had a brief but intense affair with Jack Nicholson in 1978 after separating from her husband in 1977. She described Nicholson as the first real rival to Pierre Trudeau and recalled their relationship as passionate but short-lived. Jack Nicholson and Kelly LeBrock dated from 1979 to 1980. Their relationship took place during the late 1970s and early 1980s when Kelly LeBrock was a regular at the Studio 54 scene in New York City. The romance was relatively brief and occurred before LeBrock rose to major fame with films like The Woman in Red, 1984, and Weird Science, 1985. Janice Dickinson and Jack Nicholson had a brief fling around 1980 after meeting at a Hollywood party. Despite Nicholson being in a relationship with Angelica Houston at the time, they spent the night together. Dickinson later expressed guilt over the encounter and declined Nicholson's attempts to reconnect, as she was looking for a more serious relationship. Jack Nicholson and Danish model Winnie Hallman had an on-and-off relationship from around 1980 to 1985. During this time, they had a daughter, Honey Hallman, born in January 1982, though Nicholson never publicly acknowledged her. Their relationship was intense and marked by personal struggles, including substance abuse. Despite Nicholson's support for Hallman's modeling career, their romance ended without marriage or lasting commitment. Shirley MacLaine and Jack Nicholson never had a romantic relationship or affair, despite playing love interests in the 1983 film Terms of Endearment. MacLaine, who has had affairs with many of her leading men, has explicitly stated that Nicholson was one of the two leading men she did not fall in love with or have an affair with, the other being Jack Lemmon. She explained that Nicholson just made me laugh all the time and was one of my favorite people, but she did not think he would have been her type for a romantic relationship. Their connection remained strictly professional and friendly, with MacLaine appreciating Nicholson's humor and unpredictability on set, which contributed to her performance in the film. There was no romantic involvement between them off-screen. Jack Nicholson and Sonia Morgan, the Real Housewives of New York City star, had a brief fling in the past. Sonia Morgan revealed on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen that she dated Nicholson and described their relationship as one big sloppy mess that happened whenever we could. She also noted that Nicholson is famously difficult to nail down, implying the relationship was casual and not serious. Morgan spoke about the fun they had together but acknowledged Nicholson's reputation for being non-committal. Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep reportedly had a brief fling during the filming of Ironweed in 1987, while Nicholson was involved with other women, including Angelica Houston and Veronica Cartwright. Though both denied the affair at the time, biographies and reports suggest a sexual encounter on set. They had previously clashed during Heartburn in 1985, but later rekindled chemistry. Despite the rumored affair, Streep, who was married to Don Gummer, remained close friends with Nicholson, though some sources suggest the fling may have strained her long-term marriage. Jack Nicholson and Karen Mayo Chandler dated from 1987 to 1988 in a passionate but tumultuous relationship. Mayo Chandler, a British actress and model, described Nicholson as a non-stop sex machine, highlighting their intense and adventurous love life. However, Nicholson's unwillingness to commit and his continued involvement with other women led to their breakup. Despite this, Karen later called him the love of her life and had hoped for a future with him. Jack Nicholson and Rebecca Broussard were in a relationship from 1988 to 1993/1994. They met through mutual friends, and Broussard, originally from Louisville, Kentucky, was a waitress turned model and actress when she caught Nicholson's attention. During their relationship, they had two children together, daughter Lorraine Nicholson, born 1990, and son Ray Nicholson, born 1992. Their romance began while Nicholson was still involved with Angelica Houston, who ended their 17-year relationship after discovering Nicholson was expecting a child with Broussard. Nicholson and Broussard's relationship lasted about 6 years before they separated in the early 1990s. Despite the breakup, Nicholson has remained a devoted father to their children. Jack Nicholson and Amanda de Cadenet had a brief fling in 1995 after meeting through social circles. Their connection was short-lived, with Nicholson reportedly calling to arrange a second date, but the relationship did not progress into anything serious. Jack Nicholson and Sharon Stone dated briefly from November to December 1996. Their relationship lasted about a month, during which they were seen together at events such as a sports game in December 1996. The romance was short-lived and did not develop into a long-term relationship. Jack Nicholson and Glenn Close have never been romantically involved. Their connection is limited to professional collaborations, notably appearing together in the 1996 film Mars Attacks, where they shared on-screen roles but no off-screen romantic relationship. Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt did not have a known romantic relationship. Their connection was primarily professional and friendly. They starred together in the 1997 film As Good as It Gets, where Nicholson played a misanthropic novelist and Hunt a single mother and waitress. During filming, they got along very well and developed a strong rapport, with Hunt saying Nicholson treated me like a queen and that they connected on a unique frequency. Jack Nicholson and Laura Flynn Boyle had an on-and-off relationship lasting nearly 7 years, primarily from 1999 to 2004, with reports of them being together again as late as 2006 during a vacation in Saint-Tropez. Their romance began in 1991 and included several interruptions before finally ending around 2006. Boyle has described their time together as 7 wonderful years filled with great times, and although they have not seen each other in years, they have remained in touch. Their relationship attracted significant media attention due to the age difference. Nicholson is over 30 years older, and the intensity of their bond. Boyle has also remarked that dating Nicholson marked a turning point for her, after which she decided to avoid relationships with actors. Jack Nicholson and supermodel Kate Moss had a brief and secretive affair in 2004. They met at the Cannes Film Festival and were later seen together at events like the Oscars After Party and New York Fashion Week. Despite their 37-year age gap, the fling lasted only a few months and was later acknowledged by Nicholson in interviews. Jack Nicholson and Paz de la Huerta dated in 2006, with public appearances together, including attending the premiere of The Departed in New York City that year. Their relationship was relatively brief and occurred when Nicholson was in his late 60s and de la Huerta was in her late 20s. The romance attracted media attention due to the significant age difference between the two actors. Jack Nicholson's extensive dating history, marked by numerous high-profile relationships and several children with different women, highlights a life lived with undeniable passion and a degree of romantic freedom. While he had long-term partners like Angelica Houston, his public reputation as a world-class philanderer suggests a complex approach to commitment that shaped his personal journey.